Yo, what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are back again at what is probably going to be, I think, the now new most epic fight that we're going to be seeing in Server 2. This is just completely bananas right now. So we got it pretty much right when they ended up going hard, right? So we got TA, we got TS, we got PK02, we got OwO, we got some DwD, and there was even a few EMP members as well that we ended up seeing. Now, unfortunately, it is a bit laggy, that we can tell. I was actually trying to see if I might be able to increase my RAM, because I think right now in my LD player I'm running 4-core, about 4,000 RAM. So I think I can go up to 8. I'm curious if that might end up fixing and making it a little bit more cleaner. So I have to try and work with a few more settings. But for the most part, you can see, and I'm sure as we get more dad, it'll clean up a little bit more too as well. But man, it is just wild, right? And you can kind of see that each, I think I'm going to end up, rough life. Wow, it ended up timing out. What? Okay, this is what we're going to do. Let's do this. Let's go to 8. I'm gonna, did I refresh this? Cool, okay. Here we go, let's try. Let's see what doing 8 RAM will do for me. If that might fix it. Maybe it's a virtualization thing or something else. But we're going to try and get right back in here to show you guys the goods. A good friendly reminder is, as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you sub, like, ring the notification bell. And of course, if you want to join and be a part of our conversation, hit up the Discord. You can find a link to that in the pinned comment description right down below. All right, let's try and get back into this fight ASAP Rocky. And again, I'm sure it's, just like anything, right? Maybe this might end up being semi-consistent. I'm sure it's better too as well on the phone, which is just something kind of good to note, is that your emulator probably isn't going to connect as good as a phone will, and obviously if they end up coming out with a PC client, that might be better as well. So let's see. We actually loaded in pretty smooth, I think. Okay, let's see if we can go back here. I probably should have timed it out. I'm just going to scroll up because I know someone posted it. Actually, hang on. I know where it is. Let me just zoom out real quick. Let's go here. Pretty sure I know where it is. So it's wherever EMP dropped a random fort down. Yep, here we go. Let's do it. Should be right up here, I think. Yep, we found it, we found it. Ooh, dude, it is going hard in the paint right now. Wow. Oh, so see, dude, I like this. So see, I kind of like what EMP is doing here, right? And you can, oh wow, so you actually see more of them coming in. Wow, there's a lot of EMP right now. So this is one of the things that we touched on before in previous videos, right? Where we were talking about the ability to kind of flank and get on the side and the corners and kind of split up some of the marches. Very similar to how you would do it in an RTS game, right? You may send, flanking units, or you might have kind of like these quick drops where you'll go and you'll send like some flying across the map, and you'll maybe try and take out some of like StarCraft is one of the obvious things for me that comes to mind. But you may have to kind of micro right a lot around, and you can see here that you have them kind of split up, right? So this is, to me, is a really good thing. And obviously, maybe the numbers, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if the numbers are a little bit more in favor right now of the opposition, because there's obviously 4 alliances here versus 2. And, from what we can end up seeing, that is kind of what I'm talking about, right? So EMP is kind of flanking around the right side. And because you have, you might have 10 or 12 units that are around here, and they're hitting 1 or 2 units on the side, right? So positioning is really important to make sure that you're not necessarily out of position where you're not doing damage, or you're not focus firing, right, or single target focusing certain units, which is really important, right? So as an example here, right, like you can see Junie has a march right here in the middle that isn't doing anything, right, at least until it gets attacked, so to speak, right? And I'm sure you might have some others that might just be standing around, like for example, right here. Right, they just got done fighting, but some of these units aren't even moving. right? So making sure that you're constantly positioning, and who knows, right? Maybe you had to log off or had a loading issue and is having to relog in, right? I'd be curious to kind of see how that's playing out. Right, you have some TAs that are down here, right, but are not in the fight. And that's the thing, right? If you're gonna retreat because you guys want to do something like a bulk heal, right, but you just want to kind of get out of range of the attacks and you're doing those, I think that's actually a really good tactical and a strategical point that you can do, right, where you basically run away for 5 seconds or so, you basically pile everyone into a center point and you just drop a bunch of stack heals. Right, and then bam, now you're good, now you can go back in. Maybe something kind of like operating in pods might be a good tactic, where maybe you operate in kind of like 10 Legion pods or something to that degree, where you have a minimum number of heals that each pod is running. But obviously it requires a lot more coordination. And you can see here, right, EMP, right, they're constantly going right to try and hit what looks like either they're going to the base or they're going to flank. In TA situation, right, I actually think the best approach for them is to counter, right? So really what they would want to do would be to basically run northwest, hit 1, hit 2, hit 3, hit 4, and basically try and target the smaller groups, right? This is kind of what you're really looking to do when you're playing these types of RTS games, especially where you have range factor that's coming in, right, unlike other kingdom builders. So this is one of those things that really gives you so much great opportunity on how you can micro, especially with the ranged artifact skill usage. I mean, it just adds such a strategic layer and depth to this game that I love watching it, right? So these fights to me are amazing because this is not what I get when I'm watching Rock, right? This is almost kind of what you'd refer to as like your pure open field, right? You're probably not going to see a lot of arguably maybe rallies, right, used as much, just because the open field to me is really the selling point for this game, a lot more so than Rock and others. And you can see here, right, EMP kind of working along the side, right? They have a lot of units, and it looks like they're now trying to go. It looks like trying to get to their core fortress to start building. They even dropped a Hydra just for a little defense. Like these units here, I wouldn't even waste this. These are the favorable matchups that EMP is looking for, right? Where you have a few TA that are just basically going in and dying. You want to organize yourself, have everyone get into a voice chat. And actually, we lasted a little bit longer here, and I'm probably going to have to end up reloading one more time. Again, happy that I was able to hang out and load for a bit. Let me see here. This message my team. And let them know I will be BRBZ. So yeah, no. Again, man, great stuff though. I just wish it didn't, lag as much. So I don't even have really anything running too that I think about it. Let me see here. Oh, I got service desk, DNS. Yeah, I'm actually good on everything. So, but man, that was pretty cool though, right? For the fight, at least that we saw right there in that instance. Again, right? Wish we could have stayed up a little bit longer. But I really was happy to kind of be able to show off and to do some of the commentary there and just show you some of the tactics and the strategies, right, that you really have the opportunity to implement. So let's see if we can get back and maybe do one more just to kind of get you guys the tail end of the fight here. So let's see. And maybe I might even have to just reset. Here we go. So let's go back down. We'll do yes. And then we'll go ahead and pop open. Cool. Let's go zoom in one more, or maybe one more. There we go. Awesome. So EMP looks like successfully was able to work it out. And let's see how much from TA is left right now. Wow. Okay, wow. So actually a good amount. But see, this is the thing, right? Now you're kind of getting funneled into the choke point. You don't just want to hang out at the choke point, right? You want them to come up the choke point, and then once they come up, that's where you're blasting your AoE or, your single target, like your line of sight skills, and you're creating advantages for yourself, right? So you should be waiting up here, and while you're slowly retreating, one of the things that you ideally want to try and do, kind of like if you're thinking about being in the military and you're falling back, you want to have certain points, like checkpoints, contention points, where, like, for example, right, everyone's fighting out here. If you know that your fallback position is here, then what you do is you basically start slowly working your way back while you're kind of poking, is what we would refer to it as, right? It's kind of like a League of Legends term. And then what you do is you have everyone fall back here. See, what's happening is they're kind of going out one by one, right? So you have everyone fall back to this point, you regather, and then you make a decision one of two ways. You either go ahead and have everyone push out together, Or you wait at the top of the hill, you spread out, and you wait for them to come up, and then you hit them with AoEs, right? You have to take advantage of choke points. So, right, this is, again, I love this type of stuff. These types of strategical and tactical ways of how you can play the game out. Man, I love commentating and analyzing these because, I mean, it is really important to understand that, man, like the level of depth, the tactical, the strategic playmaking that you can do in Call of Dragons is so much more, in my opinion, as I said, right, than any other kingdom builder that I've seen so far. So that's why I have a lot of potential and a lot of hype. And here's an example, right? You see some AoE skills that were just coming out, right? Which I'm forgetting what the purple shard one, right? This one, right, that he's using. You're hitting multiple units because they're just stopped right here, right? You don't want to do that. So that's why it's important to have a good understanding of how you're going to play out certain scenarios, right? Now, this is a good example here, right? You have so many people that are running through here just doing constant bulk healing, but you want the matchups to be favorable. Look at all the players here that are not engaging, right? Even some of these range players that aren't hitting anyone. So you're kind of having a third of the overall units that it looks like, maybe half, that are actually engaging in a fight, but they're being hit from multiple directions. So, again, having some more coordination in this regard, right? Whether you have, and this is why it's important for people to have Discord, right? Because eventually that, I think, is where the game is going to lead to, right? You're going to want to have 100 people in a call, or you're going to want to have 2 teams of 100 people in each, or 75 players in each, right? If you can get to the point of where you're around that, right? Sometimes it's not enough just to kind of go out and throw your weight around, so to speak. And I'll give you an example, right? Like you see Junie right here, right? With, you know, I'm sure a top march that he's running out. What's happening, right? He's getting hit from the side. He's getting hit from this side by Panda, right? So that's what you do, right? You're basically kind of constant microing where you have like an infantry march that runs at you, but you always want to have good positioning. So you want to have units here on the sides, units over here on the sides. Ooh, wow! He just used the. Oh, I like that. So he's probably going for this. He just used the what was it? That thing, the veal skill that hides you. So I'm curious where his march went, because that thing should hide you until you either attack someone or use another skill. So that was pretty cool. Actually, really dope to see people using that. I'm really curious if he's actually doing like a hard chase down here or where his march ended up going. Oh, wow, here it is. Wow, so look at that. It disappeared and then it ended up coming back there. That's pretty cool. Right, and again, man, they probably could hang out with Tia. Like, here's an example, right, with EMP. These marches are gathering, right? So you don't want to go and attack from this angle. You want to work your way down here and start poking at the people that are building, because they're going to probably have a delay or a slower response time, which means you're going to basically output free damage, right? So constantly having to have good positioning is going to be drastically important to make sure you're getting favorable trades, which is going to require bulk coordination, right, or mass coordination by a lot of your players. So in this case, right, TA probably shouldn't be engaging too much here when you have only a few players, because really EMP, if they wanted to, they could take all these players and just kind of go out and crush. This actually isn't bad. What you see Schmidt doing, what we see Jed doing, right, going right, like look at this, good example, right, just getting bulk AoE damage. That's what you're looking for, right? That's what you want to try and get, especially if you position yourself where you're able to hit these. And look at that, right? These guys were attacked. This tells you that some of these players just went into build and they're probably either not looking at this area or maybe they logged off, right? And the other people said, hey, we're going to take care of it. So these, and then look at this, right? Even slow response time from EMP. These guys are just getting blasted, and a lot of the EMP actives, or at least what appear to be active, right, are having a slow response. You're just outputting free damage. This is what I'm talking about, right? This is a good example, but you just want to do this in bulk. You want to do it with more players, and you want to have more structure, right? So again, that's why it's important to kind of get into those. And just look at that, right? These 3 to 4 players are just taking beatings right now. But again, right, this is why in TA's situation, I actually think they had an opportunity to get a couple kills there, but they just needed to organize themselves first and then push in with a plan, right, is what you're trying to do. If you're just going to go in one by one, right, EMP is pretty much going to crush. An example would have been, instead of going down to the fort immediately, clean up everyone out here, right, especially if you're forming a numbers advantage, right, then push out, clean up all the marches here, and then start working south. Right, because otherwise you're just going to get poked from behind. Or you dedicate a small group or a team to go and clean up the marches that are north, and then you push everyone down south, right? But again, you want to do it with purpose, right? Don't just do it to do it. So Again, right, that's the important. And now you actually see EMP, at least a few players, kind of doing an adjustment. Now they realize, right, some people are realizing, hey, they're just coming in and getting free hits here. So those are the kind of things you're looking for. An example, right, on what I would do, just to kind of test their coordination if it was me and we were in a call, I'd have everyone swing south to where they barely don't have anyone, and I would hit them from this side, right, and just go right there. So again, these are things that you want to do, right? And then if they push out and they overextend, then you have everyone just go in, right? So if you had a few of these EMP players that overextended a little bit west, and you notice that's happening in the rotation, then you go ahead and you pounce on them real quick, do as much damage as you can, right? And maybe you can catch one or two before they end up retreating. And if they do retreat, then you reset again, right? So it's you're kind of testing, right? It's like that Jurassic Park quote that the guy said when they went to the raptor nest, right? And he said, like, they were testing the fences for weaknesses, right? That's kind of what you want to do. And that's why I love this, right? Man, if I was kind of like an on-field general and just having, 100 people on a voice call, oh, dude, I would plan so well. It would just be so fun. Oh, no, we fell again. Okay. What are we at? 15 minutes right now? Man, I would love to keep showing you guys a little bit more. I think I'm probably going to end it there, though, just because we've been having a few drops. Man, this is awesome, and I'm going to try and give you guys more of this type of content, especially if I'm able to find some from Server 1, if there's fights that happen there, or even any additionals. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Apologies, of course, about the restarts. We actually lasted, I think, the longest there on that third try, so that was really cool. But, man, as always, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your feedback, your thoughts, right? Do you like the commentary? Again, I'm still learning as many of the artifacts as I can so I can start working on speaking to the specific terms. And it's not just me saying, hey, that purple thing that's flying around. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video of this really big S2 fight. If there's a few more fights that happen throughout the day, I'm going to try and do some more recordings. And yeah, so that's it for me. As always, I hope you guys enjoy. Until next time, I'll catch you later.